So Battlefield 2042 has had a pretty rough launch. Definitely not unusual for the franchise, but that does not make it any more acceptable. Is the game worth buying yet was a potential title for this video, but after the update it's almost better off going with something like why you should refund Battlefield 2042. So just to recap, we've had 3 updates so far. The first update fixed some bugs. The second update allowed you to use weapons other than the PP29 by fixing something that they ruined from the beta. And now we have the third update, which brought over 150 bug fixes, quality of life upgrades, along with some balancing. I want to start by congratulating the team over at DICE. They've shown great direction with these updates and a lot of good has already been done. Fact of the matter is, most of this should have been done with launch. In fact, more than this should have been done with launch, as even in the current state, the reviews and the reception of the game would be largely unchanged. And before we move on from updates, let's not forget all the issues that they bring. It's literally one step forward, one step back. Update 3 fixed so much, and it did so much good for the game. You know what else it did? It removed your mouse input. Dude, you can't make this up anymore. One of the biggest problems with the game was the input lag, both on controller and mouse and keyboard. You know what they did? They removed the ability to use your mouse. To fix this bug that they've introduced, you had to do this complicated fix involving the config files. Most players are not going to search the depths of the internet for a fix. They're going to load in, try to move their mouse, and they'll notice it doesn't work. They'll try a few things maybe, they'll fail to figure it out, and they'll log off for the night. It's absolutely unacceptable. Let me emphasize that again. The mouse didn't work. Not only that, but within the first day of this update, you couldn't even connect to a server. I spent an average of about 10 minutes finding each match, and the games that I did find were filled with bots. It was not fun at all. My game also never crashed before this update. You know what? Crashing is now a thing for me too, so that is fun. So despite all that, at least the updates focused on our priorities, right? Well, I think it's unanimous among the community. The improvements we wanted were the performance and the hit reg. Well, unfortunately, neither were improved or even acknowledged. Mouse input fixes were promised in previous dev posts. Unfortunately, nothing like that was delivered. Let's put it this way. These are some results from a mouse movement recorder. The left column is the raw mouse input and the right shows what the game is reading. Red means bad, inaccurate, whatever. Green means good. Guess which game is Battlefield 2042 and guess which game is Farming Simulator. That's right, Farming Simulator has better mouse input than Battlefield 2042. The abysmal hit reg was also put on blast recently by JackFrags. Drunksy responded saying that he's pretty confident they had a fix for the issue. Unfortunately, nothing made it into the patch though. I've also heard from some other sources that they cannot replicate the issue and a fix might not even be possible. This most certainly is not a dig at Drunksy though. He is actually one of the few reasons to have faith in this game and is an absolute gem to the community. Seriously, respect to you, Florian. Performance was also addressed in a blog post a few weeks ago. DICE said that it will take some time to fix the performance. Look, that is not what you want to hear, especially in a time where hardware shortages are very common for pretty much anything good enough to run the game. Even if you can get your hands on the very best hardware possible, we're talking you spend probably $5,000 US on a PC, you're going to be playing on low settings, just how it is, and you are not guaranteed 144 frames. Definitely not guaranteed that. You're going to have to do some pretty serious overclocking if you want to have a shot at it. Thing is, performance may never be good for this game. A few sources I've looked at, including Hardware Unboxed, have said that it's most likely due to the tick rate and the 128 player design. There's a good chance that the game will never fully utilize CPUs. And that's just not okay. It just isn't. It really is not acceptable, and it leads me to looking at some bigger picture stuff like, was 128 players a mistake? And to me it really was. After playing the game for probably close to 200 hours total, if not more, I'm very confident in this, as it just justifies some ridiculous map sizes, it hurts performance, and it hurts the flow of gameplay. Not to mention, but we've never felt more helpless as an individual player or even a squad. For example, during the world record Jet gameplay I posted recently, our squad had over 1,000 kills and assists. It was probably one of the most destructive squads ever assembled, and we could not push the last sector. In fact, so much of the new direction we've seen in 2042 just isn't welcome. DICE EA, please for the love of God, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Battlefield provides a unique enough experience when done right. Why do you think we're all still here dealing with this mess? It's because regardless of everything, it's still a Battlefield game. You can't get this experience anywhere else, and when done right, it's downright incredible. For some reason though, they keep trying to innovate in ways that we really just don't need. Specialists, map sizes, 30mm guns strapped onto transport vehicles, and the list goes on. Formulas work and they're there for a reason. Perhaps DICE and EA weren't aware of the existing Battlefield formula, but go and look at other games for an example. When Counter-Strike went from Source to Go, they didn't add in wingsuits, they didn't double the player count, and they didn't increase the map size by 4 times. COD, for example, also follows an extremely strict formula. It's almost the same every time, almost to the point where people make fun of it. But that's okay because it has a dedicated fan base and people always come back. On the topic of COD, it actually makes me really sad that 2042 was lined up to totally wipe the floor with COD. Vanguard is a disgraceful excuse of a video game. I know huge COD YouTubers who had their sights set on greener pastures in the form of 2042. After playing this game though, they're back to COD and they're basically dealing with the same stuff that we are. At a certain point, it's not about what's better, it's about what the community wants. In Battlefield 5, DICE tried to change the time to kill values twice, despite immense pushback from the community. Sure, their math supported the changes, but who cares? The second TTK patch killed the game. I'm personally on the record saying that specialists aren't such a bad thing. I enjoyed being able to play solo, I actually kind of like that. But you know what? I'm not the majority. The majority wants nothing to do with specialists, and I understand why. Classes gave everybody a role and added a lot of predictability to the game. Then there's legacy features. Well, it's a meme at this point. Features that used to be core components of Battlefield, such as the server browser or the scoreboard, are now being described as legacy features. Let's just put this to rest right now. Those are not legacy features for Battlefield, let alone any game. They are essential and they would certainly help this situation. There's more to list, but I've went on long enough at this point. Just please, please, please DICE, invest in some QA and make sure the updates are only fixing things from now on. You can't keep on taking steps back. It is totally unacceptable. Because of all this, I see blame everywhere. Blame the devs, blame EA, whatever. Here's how I see it. The publisher, EA, in this case, is mostly to blame. As you said earlier, the game had no business being released this early. If it was delayed enough, I think the game would at least be finished. The decision making is a whole nother issue though. I genuinely think that the majority of devs are great. I'm assuming they just go in and they do what they're told. It's the people who are giving the directions that are at fault here. Who thought that Hazard Zone was a good idea? I mean, anyone who played Battlefield and understands the franchise and what we want, I could have told you it would flop years ago, right? I could have told you it was going to be a flop. Who thought specialists were a good idea? Who is so obsessed with these open maps? Who decided that every single vehicle needs a tow and a 30mm cannon? You guys get it, you know? I don't think EA is making a lot of these decisions. A lot of these must be within DICE, and honestly, it just feels so disconnected from what the community actually wants. I will say that my only complaint with the developers themselves is how they see feedback. I'm not gonna name names, but I've seen them call Steam reviews review bombing. No, it's not review bombing. The game is just a mess, alright? It's an accurate representation. I've also heard complaints about people sending a list of issues and adding the devs, claiming it's disrespectful. I don't see it that way. It's just sending some issues to someone that can hopefully act on them. So after all that, it sounds grim, right? You know, recently one of my favorite YouTubers, aka Art, actually quit as a result of all this. Seriously, just big ups to Art. He's actually been my biggest inspiration for content. Fortunately, I will not be following in those exact footsteps, not yet at least. I'm going to be sticking this out for as long as I can. As I said before, the Battlefield experience is available in one game and that's it. When the game is working as intended, I'm pretty much always having a blast, and DICE can always get these games sorted out with time. They always do. But the question is, you know, will you guys stick around? You know, I hope so. But at the same time, I would totally understand if you guys don't want to stick around. Like, the game's been a mess. I do this as a job. I mean, I deferred uni for a semester to do this stuff. I'm on holiday right now. This is literally my job right now. But I really, really enjoy it, and it's been fun doing the job side of things. Not even the game sometimes, but all the people I've met in my Twitch chat, you know, YouTube. This stuff has actually went crazy, and I can't thank you guys enough for... I mean, firstly, let's just talk about the 100k. That's absolutely crazy. It's a dream of mine, and we've already exceeded more than I could ever imagine. There is a 100k special vid coming soon as well, but for now, look, I appreciate you guys so much, and let's hope things get better. Peace.